They said we're supposed to get 3 to 5 inches tonight. And the thing about that is, like, that's the only inches I'm going to be taking because I'm single on my birthday.
I gotta be real for a moment. As a 28-year-old single girly, a lot of the fine men have been baby daddied in the same way that a lot of the really hot girls have been baby mamaed. And it's like, they're good dads, but it's like, I don't want to date someone who has kids, but like, I totally understand why someone lets you get them pregnant, okay? I see the vision.
Hey y'all, hey, can someone tell me why guys are afraid to approach pretty women? I get the whole don't approach women when they're in packs and in groups because it's a little intimidating. But if you see a pretty girl, don't be afraid to say hi. We speak, we don't bite. Thanks.
Can I just talk about how, on average, I'm opening the door for men more than they open the door for me?
Apparently, that's a problem. Otherwise, we wouldn't be hearing about it.
I knew that chivalry was dead, but, like, I didn't know it was dead. Like, I didn't know it was like this.
Like what? Being treated as an equal instead of a delicate, helpless woman that can't do anything for herself?
Like, I don't mind being kind to men, you know, opening the door for them, yeah. But it's just a little off-putting when it's like 3 out of 5 times I'm opening the door for a man, and he's just going right through.
Well, a lot of women do that to men. They go right through the door and don't even say thank you. But yet somehow women are offended when they're treated in the same way.
You feel like a man after that? Like, me personally, I wouldn't feel like a man after that. Like, I'd feel like a...
It's rather ironic that when some women want to try to insult men, they usually end up referring to them by a term that was normally used to try to insult women, insinuating that they are feminine. Anyone else see the irony there?
And do you have any respect for yourselves? Like, you guys, like, on average, guys, I'm really out here opening doors for men more than they're opening for me. We're talking about grown-ass men. We're talking about grown men, like weird men, okay? Me, little lady, opening the door for you 3 to 5 times is kind of weird.
Interesting. And that goes right along with a little trend that I've been noticing, that some women really despise gender roles, except when it comes to men. They think that men apparently should stay in certain gender roles, but that it doesn't apply to women. Except, of course, when it benefits them.
I'm 39 years old, love. Don't put me through anything but a mattress, okay?
I, 28 female, commented on a post of my boyfriend, 29 male, on a "Are we dating the same guy?" page, and he found out. What are my next steps?
I hate this man. I've had a day. I can't with this man.
I, 28 female, recently found a post of my boyfriend, 29 male, on a local "Are we dating the same guy?" page. We've been together for 5 years.
Oh.
There were several comments on there of girls stating that they texted him and went out with him, and I couldn't tell if this had happened recently or if it could have been from a long time ago. So I commented on it anonymously, asking if anyone has talked or hooked up with him recently, and a girl responded saying that she did, and asked if I did as well, and if I had any tea on him. I probably should have said I was his girlfriend, but I was so embarrassed I couldn't and worried I wouldn't get any information, so I just said he told me not to talk or sleep with anyone else, and he wouldn't either, but that we never hooked up. She responded back claiming he said the exact same thing to her. I then asked when they last hooked up, and she never responded back. My boyfriend then comes home and is furious, slamming doors, giving me dirty looks, but won't say anything to me. I know he knows that I was the one who anonymously posted because I had suspicions that he had been cheating on me and have recently been asking him, and he denied doing so. I then go back to the post and all of her responses are deleted, so I know she told him, and I'm sure he told her to delete them, but he's pissed at me for it? Anyways, what are my next steps? Do I confront him about it or just wait and see if he says anything? Also, we rent an apartment together and are on the same lease, so that makes things even more complicated.
Slamming doors? Sir, grow up. Grow up. And you don't even have the balls to tell me why you're mad? Grow up. I'm fighting him.
You
I'm
slam
mad.
a door in my house?
Not in my house.
Not in my house.
Somebody in the comments said it almost sounds like he could have been the other girl she was talking to. But you know they don't care about that. These modern women, they always want something scandalous. They always want to be involved in some sort of drama. It was bait and switch. And she was talking about, well, I have suspicions that he was cheating. And so she was probably, kind of fishing, and he saw her fishing, if that's the case. And he said, okay, what is she actually doing? What is she actually accused? Now, it could be the case that he's cheating. It could be. But like they said, it could also be the case that he saw her looking on these types of pages and groups, and he said, what is she saying about me? What is she talking about? And so he made a profile and said whatever it was, started asking questions, and now she's in this position. And so he comes in slamming doors, upset. Well, he's guilty. Or it could be, why don't you trust me? Why are you saying all this stuff about me online and it's not true? Could be that. But of course, a man is going to be the enemy at all times until he can jump through hoops and roll around in fire and prove his innocence.
Stop monitoring your man's phone. I know it's popular nowadays to put on like blockers on certain websites and for women to keep tabs on what their husbands are looking at on their phones and their video games and everything. Cut it out. Stop doing stuff like that. You are not his mom. That is not your role. Once you step into the mom role, it kills all the romance. It kills all the intimacy. It's no fun. If you're married to a man who is basically a good guy, he should know that he answers to God, not you. We're not put in his life to babysit him. No. I get it. There's temptations out there for men. I understand, like, the world we live in, social media, digital things. I get that it's all there. I get the concern. But it isn't your place. It's not your place. No man wants his woman to like babysit him and monitor him and like be his mom. Nobody wants that. But more importantly, no woman deep down wants to do it either. We don't want to do that. It makes us feel gross and icky. It takes the romance and the fun and the passion out of the relationship. And I know people are going to tell me I'm wrong. I know people are going to say, you need to do this because it will keep your man in line and you need to make sure he's like being moral. I would rather not be in a relationship than be in a relationship with somebody that I have to monitor. No, that's not a marriage. That's not healthy. That's not good. Once you're married, once you love this man, once you commit to trusting and to respecting him, let him be in charge of himself instead of you pretending like you are controlling him, because you can't control a grown man. You can't.
Somebody in the comments said, I disagree. We have an open phone policy with one another. Open phone policy is not the same thing as monitoring. You have access to his phone, just like he has access to your car. He has access to your purse. But do you think that he's going to be going in your purse all the time? Probably not. Why not? Because I don't want to go rummaging around in there. Just tell me what it, and matter of fact, whatever I need, just give it to me. So I don't have to go in there. Period. End of story. So having an open phone policy is not the same thing as getting up every single morning and grabbing your man's phone and just flipping through it, scrolling through it for hours looking for something. It's not the same thing.
So women. So like you said, you expect these certain things, right? Let's say I do that, and then on the second date, I need to expect something. What can a guy expect?
You're getting my time because obviously you're interested.
We got to stop saying that.
Hold on, but it's the truth.
So if you're basically saying that you are so much more valuable than me as a person that I have to accommodate your time and your energy. I think if we're getting to know each other, I think I would hope that you go out with a person that's just as interesting as you are.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going out on the second date.
So it's not your time, it's our time. Like, I'm there on a date with you.
Yes, of course, your time, the man's time is just as valuable, but I feel like if you're expecting a home and children out of me, I want you to put more value and show me you're a man by pursuing and courting and showing me that character, that part of you. Yeah,
and what I'm hearing, again, I could be wrong, but what I'm hearing is showing you is about spending the money. That's it. It's not, character has nothing to do with money. Absolutely nothing.
Of course not.
So you can see somebody's character by being in a park with them, by whatever. Like that doesn't show anything.
Yeah, character and then your approach towards me. Okay. So for an example, I've been approached by wealthy men. I don't check men's pockets, but I could tell, if a man is financially stable or not, So I've been approached by those men, and just because they start showboating and are trying to pick me up by showboating, right away I'm turned off. I don't want to go on a date with you. Like, I don't care you have money or like you have this, these are your accolades. It's really about how respectfully you communicate. If you're just that man, then okay. Okay, you are pursuing me, you want to ask me out on a date, I'll go on a date with you. But I'm not going to just go on a date because, I make 6 figures, I make 7 figures, just because you are financially stable. Like, do you understand? Like, I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm explaining this correctly.
understand.
Is he bothering you, Queen? Wait, you cook for him? You know we have rights now, right? You should check his phone. Check his phone, check his phone, check his phone. Me if I got a lobotomy. Lavender marriage. No man deserves this. All this for a man and he's just providing for you? Ugh, the bare minimum. He's definitely cheating on you. No, he's definitely cheating on you.
Why did women contribute more when they weren't working, but contribute less now that they are working?
Forced.
Can you explain?
So I think they were forced. Yeah, I mean, a lot of husbands used to beat their wives if they didn't do what they said, and that was acceptable back then. They couldn't get divorced, and they didn't want to leave their kids with their husband. You know, they could threaten to take everything away from them, and it was harder for women to find jobs back then versus now.
Feminism is great in concept, right? And we love women. We love to protect women. Women should be able to do whatever, like in the sense, you know, but like the feminist mindset has also like damaged relationships and marriages and the dating culture and all of that things.
Unpopular opinion. A lot of men are now attracted to mindset. He needs to see how you think, not just how you look. And if he ain't attracted to how you think, he won't be attracted to you.
How long you and your man been together?
4 months.
How long did you make him wait?
We in love.
She gave that pussy up immediately, didn't she? How long you make him wait? Oh. After 4 months, anything you want to tell 4 months that you never said before?
You know what I want to say.
Keep it short, though. Keep it short. When a black woman say, you know what, I was thinking, we about to go. You see that time clock? No, exactly. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. No, keep it short. You know what? No, go ahead. Keep it.
No, for real.
Now you want to talk. And he is. What happened to all those last short? Now you want something to say was about that nigga. Come on, man.
All jokes aside, when you see that man, don't worry about him coming to you. You come to him. That part.
Right, hold on. She might be making sense on that type shit. Say it again, because she just got divorced, so she gonna be out in these streets. And you pay for the date, right?
And didn't.
Okay. Make a noise for her. Get up out of here. Hell yeah. Girl, you going in the green room. Girl, no, get your ass. That's not how the auditions go, but we can scratch that and figure out that she ruined it for everybody. I swear to God she did. It was gonna be fun. I swear to God, I had a fun segment. We was gonna get to know each other. I was gonna give out free t-shirts. Oh, hell no. No the fuck, and won't. You still and won't? I see what kind of energy this is.
No fucking wonder there's a male loneliness epidemic. You fuckers don't know how to date.
There's a male loneliness epidemic. Isn't it funny how there isn't a female one though?
Consider maybe there wouldn't be a male loneliness epidemic if more men weren't so insufferable and quite frankly annoying to be around.
Hey, are you feeling all right? I want to talk to the men watching this right now because a lot of you are not okay and you haven't been for a very long time. Male loneliness is not rare. It's not a character flaw and it's nothing to laugh at because men are taught to carry their pain quietly, to be there when everybody else needs them, to be sure, though, to not need much themselves. Men already take up the majority of the suicide rate, and even though suicide doesn't spike itself on Christmas, around the holiday season, it does, along with isolation, feelings of worthlessness. And we're not just sitting back and allowing it to happen. We're actually laughing in their faces. We're encouraging it, calling them losers. Now imagine feeling like that every single day and having to open your phone around this time of year and seeing people call you losers, laughing in your face, laughing at your pain. None of this is motivation or encouragement. It's just belittlement, and that pushes men closer towards the edge. This isn't just random men on the internet we're talking about. We're talking about our fathers, our brothers, our sons, our best friends. And when all men hear this time of year of how disposable they are, how much they're losers, how much they don't matter, we can't be surprised when men start believing it. If you're a man watching this and you feel invisible, I want you to know that you don't have to carry this alone. You are seen and we are here. You matter.
So let me get this straight. Women will get trapped in relationships with partners that treat us like and men will tell us, oh, well, that's your fault. You should have picked better. So women say, okay, bet. We will pick better. We are going to raise our standards and stop wasting our time on mediocre men. And then men turn around and go on their little mantrums about the male loneliness epidemic and tell women that we need to settle.
I haven't heard any men saying anything about the male loneliness epidemic. It's always women talking about that. In fact, a lot of men are willingly walking away from dating because they're unhappy, because they're not being treated right. When you talk about raising your standards, is it actually standards, or is it a bunch of superficial qualities that you guys are demanding? Because I wouldn't call those standards. Because let's be real here, if I come on in here and say, hey, I want a man that treats me nicely. I want a man that's honest and has higher integrity. That's my standard. No one's gonna argue with that. But no, it's the coming on here and being like, I want a man that's 6 feet, makes 6 figure. I want a man that does this and that. When there are things that men typically don't have, like a very small portion of them. And those expectations don't determine his personality in any way, shape, or form. So you're not actually getting a better man by saying, hey, I will only date a man that is 6 feet tall. You're just picking qualities that you'll never be able to reasonably get.
I agree. I'm really not sure who is talking about this in terms of a man. I mean, I guess I'm on the wrong side of social media, but I don't, by and large, see men talking about this. I see a few here and there that might mention it, mostly indirectly. But if that's what you're talking about, that's what you're talking about. By and large, I'm not sure who, as a man, is talking about this stuff. Now, that's not to say that men don't feel lonely. That's not to say that there aren't a lot of men out there that are struggling with loneliness. That's not to say that. But who you guys made up this epidemic, quote unquote. Y'all made this up. And now y'all are saying men are talking about it. No, it's you talking about it. Maybe it's the men in your dreams talking about it. And you're happy about the men in your dreams talking about it because you are so hell-bent on sticking it to the man in your dreams.
Okay, but there's two types of men. The first kind of men will carry you when your feet hurt. The second type of man will say, I told you not to wear those shoes. Pick wisely.
Anything men can do, we can do better. Embrace gender differences.
That what men really feel most of the time when it comes to divorce is resentment, not surprise, not loss, not grief, but resentment at losing their very own personal absorber of all their negative externalities, their personal patriarchal absorber of responsibilities, absorber of costs. One need look no further than how most men behave in custody battles, and that is this. Most men, we know statistically, they do not show up. They do not contest the mother's custody order. They actually do nothing. Well, then, subsequent to having no custody assigned to them, they either come around and look.
You guys cannot be out here telling yourselves that men are so resentful because, they're giving up their unpaid labor. They're paying for it every single day when they go to work. They're paying for it every time you have a mental outburst about someone from 10 years ago. He's paying for it every single time he misses a birthday or a holiday, or he can't be at a sporting event because mom moved so far away. He is literally paying for the consequences of the woman's actions every single day, and y'all never want to take accountability for your part in it. He's paying for it every single time he has to come home to an empty house with toys all over the place. He's paying for it every single time that child support hits and he has to pay for 2 households. And if anything, if men are resentful, they have every single right to be, because there's no way that he has to live like this for the rest of his life because of the consequences of your actions to not making the relationship work. And before you come at me with any kind of, I'm not talking about situations. They're paying for it every single time you're bitter and have to take him to court or want to take him to court for custody. Y'all never ask yourselves why these men have to fight for custody in the first place. And let's be so for real. The only people in these kind of equations that are resentful are the mothers that become single mothers and now have to do it all by themselves, even though they get government assistance, they get help from child support, they get all of these government programs to help them while the dads suffer in silence. And y'all never want to talk about that. You're so self-centered that you only think about yourself in this equation, even though you created this entire situation by initiating divorce in the first place. But then you spew out this that men are resentful because they're basically losing their unpaid labor. No, what they're losing is a literal adult child, because it's been statistically proven that men put out 80% more income than women, which is why women fight so hard against 50-50 in the first place, because women can't even contribute 50% of the household income. And then guess what? That man will spend 20 years building up his retirement, and y'all will come in after 10 years and take whatever you can get because you're bitter. That's what they're upset about. I don't give a if you want to stay, if you want to go, but imagine building your entire empire for some bitter ass to come steal it all. All because she opened her legs and had children with him, essentially. I'm just so sick of this narrative where women will literally tell themselves anything to avoid accountability for situations that they create. How about going to therapy? How about not picking horrible partners in the first place? How about trying to make your relationship work other than trying to dissolve the marriage in the first place and then having to take him to court in the first place? Okay, bye.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but doing OnlyFans is some pretty low IQ behavior.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but when it comes to women, men should really just shut the fuck up.
I didn't think my haters look like this. The stereotypes are so real. Goodness, this is freaking awesome.
Men talk about when they're alone, because I genuinely do not understand how men do not know personal.
Okay, so I guess this is a secret that many people don't know. Pop culture loves to portray men as being very simple and shallow, like we'll get together and we'll just talk about sports all day. We'll never get into anything about our personal lives. And I guess women don't realize there's a reason for this. From birth, it was my understanding that the most noble thing you can do as a man is not be a burden on other people. And most men I've known experience talking about deep subjects as work. You are putting a burden on them. It's not a burden to talk about sports or video games or our Warhammer figures, but it is, in our perception, a burden to talk about our jobs, our relationships, and so on. So the arrangement you wind up with is, because I like you, I'm not going to burden you.
Ain't no way a man wants to know you just got smashed by 20 dudes in the last year. But that's what women are doing. That's normal. I ain't slept with 20 dudes in my whole life. That's crazy to me. We get into a space where someone else is supposed to solve our problem. I don't need you to solve my problem. It's nice to have, but I don't need it. Misunderstandings or miscommunications. Is it really that serious? Or is that little devil on your shoulder screaming so loud that now you can't hear God's voice? You can't hear the truth voice. You're so emotionally dysregulated that you're stuck in that negative vibration. If there were a disrespectful parent, this is time where my husband gets to step in and have a conversation. The conversation is, hey mom, you know I love you. I love you so much. And I also love Sarah. And I need for you to show her some respect. Taking accountability that women have become too hard. Women have become too masculine. Women have gotten into this I don't need no man era. Truthfully, that's what we want. They don't know God. They say they know God. They go to church. It doesn't mean you know God. You're in a ritual. You do a thing. But in order to know God, you have to have a relationship with God, which means you have to talk to God, which requires prayer, which requires seeking, which requires so many different things.
Y'all get on this app every day and complain, oh, there ain't no fine men. Nobody's approaching. The men aren't approaching. And I hate these incels. You're the incel. Y'all are literally the definition of the incel. You have guys like myself who I've made a point to make the video of saying, like, we gotta start calling women bums. We gotta start calling women lame and losers and all this that you call men the second they say something you don't like. You gotta start calling a lot of these women losers. The women who bullied that girl to death, right? The women who had parts in bullying that girl to death. Those women are legit losers, bro. Like, if men were on here acting like that toward another man, we would be like, yo, what the is wrong with this nigga? Does he think this is high school, bro? And the reason I'm saying that, and I'm being so straightforward about it, is because I forget who it was. There was a guy on this app. I think he said, like, it was like last week. He was just like, I don't even like John Cannon, but y'all gotta understand, there's very few male creators on this app with big followings, and I don't even have a big following. But he was just breaking it down, like, especially black male creators. Like, people, you might see a lot of black male creators, but there are very few black male creators. 99% of the mess on this app comes from women, right? Even the girl the other week who was upset with me because I broke down her take about her saying that she cannot date her equal because it would do nothing but pull her down. And I was saying that is stupid, right? Y'all notice how I always attack the take. And then here comes a drove of women. These are incels, married with 3 kids. He's married with 3 kids. He look like this, but he's an incel?
Exactly. I'm fully on board with this. We don't call women, these modern women, losers enough. And it's not to disrespect you, but it's to knock you back into reality that what you're talking about and the things that you're doing, you need to stop doing that. I know you like to get on here and talk about your feelings. That's great. I know you want to get on here and want people to validate your feelings. That's great. But some of these things that you be saying, it's loser. It's loser mentality. And you need to stop doing that.
Let me ask you something. Do men ever not pursue a woman because they are intimidated by her? Do men ever not pursue a woman because they're just too scared of how much they're going to fall in love with her? We have been fed this tale that if a man is not pursuing you and a man is not making plans with you, that's probably because he's intimidated by you. He's intimidated by your success. He's intimidated by your beauty. He's intimidated by how fancy of a lifestyle you have. And I'm just curious, is any of that true? Is any of that?
It's not that he's intimidated. It's that he knows that by getting into a relationship with that kind of woman, he's going to be signing up for a full-time job trying to maintain and upkeep a relationship without her even reciprocating. It's quite literally the ability of a man to look at a situation logically, to then determine if it's even worthwhile trying to pursue a woman that potentially could just tear his life apart and he will never have peace. What a man is actually intimidated by is being sent to HR because he's about to get fired. He's intimidated by the police being called on him for being falsely accused over something that he's never done. And he's intimidated by running into a bear in the woods.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why.
So this video is a really good example of how women create standards that create problems for themselves. And I wanted to watch and discuss a few things from it. So let's take a look.
And I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present.
I find this actually so frustrating because everything she's saying that her husband is everything a woman says she wants in a man, but it's still not enough for her. Let's continue watching.
You know, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean.
So at this point in the story, her husband has said, "Oh my gosh, baby, I'm sorry. What can I do? Tell me what to do." And she says, "Unload the dishwasher and take out the trash in the morning." Now, on one hand, I get it. That's not much of an ask, right? That's a very simple task. But her reasoning is that she doesn't want to have to find the clean dishes in the dishwasher. She wants to find them in the cabinet. And anyway, let's keep watching.
Okay. And I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected.
So she's been saying that her husband proceeded to start doing that in the mornings and then sometimes he would forget. And one day she had to go into the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes to get the water bottle and she felt disrespected and unseen. And that, to me, when I hear that, that is a her problem. That is not a him problem. The dishes in the dishwasher are still clean, and the trash doesn't have to be taken out in the morning. If you're running late, which she goes on to say that she's late now because she has to do all these things. But no, you didn't have to do all those things. You created a standard that the dishes have to be put away and the trash has to be taken out in the morning. Now, I understand you want that to happen most of the time for cleanliness or whatever, but if you're running late, it can wait. It's not about being disrespected or unseen. Like, that's just a huge leap to me.
The work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there.
Okay, so they did the work, and she goes on to say it took 18 months for her to train him to do the things in the house her way. In other videos, she talks about how he does his own laundry and he makes dinner 5 days a week. And I do think that it's helpful if both people are working, if both people take on some of the housework. But to me, like singling out, oh, you have to do your own laundry is so bizarre. It's like, not only I'm not going to do your laundry for you, but she probably doesn't like the way he does laundry, so she lets him just do his own laundry. And she talks about equity in a marriage, and if your only focus is everything has to be equal, it's 50% of the work is on me and 50% of the work is on you, that's so unnatural. Both parties, should be giving into the marriage. But I wonder if she considers equity when it comes to his job and his income. Because in other videos, I hear that she is married to a lineman who has a very dangerous emergency services type job. He's a first responder, right? Is she also as necessary to society? Like, does she also have to contribute equitably in that way? Does she make as much money as him? Is that also an area where they need to be equitable? Or is equity only important when it comes to what she wants done and the way she wants it done? Some women definitely do carry a disproportionate load in their relationship with their spouse, and some men do refuse to help, and maybe they don't even bring in as much money as her or put in as much effort in the home. That example exists, I'm sure, for some women, but based on what she just shared, that's not how she lives. She even started the video saying that he was present and he was a caring husband and father. And then she goes on to complain and say she considered divorce because he didn't unload the dishwasher. And that's what I mean when I say that women create these problems. If you would just let go of your control of the house, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be done exactly your way every single time, if you would let go of that, you could have a more relaxed and loving relationship.
And then she was saying something about a favorite, if I heard correctly, a favorite cup, which those things are great to have, but it's not necessary, right? Today, which you as a mother are going to have to manage that. Surprise, surprise. Today, we cannot have that cup. We have to use this one. That's just how life goes. It's nobody's fault. Sometimes something is just not ready. Period. End of story. But like she was saying, and I like her take on this, sometimes he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But because he's not doing it how you want it to be done, then it's an issue. And that creates an issue in your relationship. Right? I can see if he was like, I don't really like the way he does that. Oh, girl. And you get around your girlfriends and y'all say that and y'all kiki and you laugh and go home. And there's really no maliciousness. You're just venting about it. Right? But you still show respect to your husband. To some of y'all going places and areas where y'all vent. And then after y'all get through venting and getting all that frustration out, you go back home and start disrespecting your partner. You go back home and start trashing and criticizing and really actually amping up your disdain for your partner after these sessions. After it was cathartic for me. I just had to get that out. But now you're being disrespectful. And that's not right. which is what you're doing. And you're saying, well, he had to work hard to reach the mark. It took us a little while, but he was far behind. We're going to discuss this a little bit later in the video, where they talk about women doing certain things and men falling behind. Men are actually not falling behind. Men are falling behind according to what you want, but according to what society needs, men are trudging. They're going along just fine. Could you step up in some instances? Sure. But the way that y'all want to take society versus the way society needs to go are two different things.
I can't help but to laugh when a man brings up friends with benefits, because what's the benefit for me? Are you paying bills? Are you going to pay my car note? Are you going to pay my rent? No? Oh, okay. So what's the benefit? Because you're going to finish. I'm not. When you're checking up on me, you're not actually genuinely checking up on me. You're checking to see where I'm at because you want me to come over and sit on it. You're not taking me out on dates. And you don't really give up to know how my day is. So what's my benefit? I know you're benefiting, but what's my benefit? Yeah, no, I'm good. Stop falling for the propaganda that women benefit from friends with benefits. Unless you're getting your bills paid, you are being used.
Y'all say all of this until you get in a little bit of a drought and a dry spell. And then all of a sudden he can come over all he wants, all he likes, and tear it up. And then when you get what you need, all of a sudden you're back to talking foolishness. Come on.
Social media loves the glam wife who looks good but does nothing. Sorry to break it to you, but a trophy wife is a luxury, it's not a calling. You want respect? Get off the couch and earn it. God calls women to build, not just be built for. If you think your role is to just sit and look pretty and enjoy, you're missing the whole point. Your worth isn't in your looks or your husband's success. It's in your work ethic, your wisdom, and your faith.
Okay, bit check. This is the last first date that I have in me. My clothes don't match. I did not take a shower. I do not give a... This is really the last of what I have in me. I have nothing to offer anymore. It's all gone. Except some Christmas presents with somebody else's name on it and their cat's name, so I have a little bit to offer.
He's okay. He has water and treats. I'm inside shopping. He's happier here. Thank you. Hope it's not a kid. A dog. Window's cracked open, at least.
Women on Thanksgiving. And men on... Okay, I see what you're doing. Well, he paid for those. All of these. This, that, these, those, these, and this. Plus the house and the electricity. This, that, that. The funny thing is, like, if you were single, you'd have to do all of this by yourself anyway and pay for it. Your gender role is so easy. Just cook the food, take care of the house, and don't be such a nagging bitch.
So I recently made a video about a plus-size woman who was crying in Target because none of the clothes ended up fitting her.
I want to be able to wear what other people wear.
And the internet completely lost its mind. I mean, you can only imagine what some of these people were calling me.
As a man, it is not something that you are allowed to comment on.
Stop body shaming and just mind your own business. Men should really just shut that.
Get off your high horse and act like a human being.
The only opinion that actually matters here would have been from the woman in the video if she responded. Oh wait, she did. This is what she had to say.
Hi Noah, this is Danielle. This is the girl who was crying in Target. I did like your video. I've actually followed you for a while on my other TikTok account. I did not want my video to come off that way. I didn't post it for that reason, to say poor me, whatever. I was just in a really vulnerable state. My whole post within Target was just to be like, hey, you already make a plus size section. Why can't you just extend the size instead of making completely different ugly clothes? I'm on a journey to completely revamp my life. I'm personally not happy at the size I am, and I want to be able to fit in regular clothes. I enjoyed the video. Thanks for stitching it. Hopefully we can talk one day.
And that right there is exactly why I do what I do. not to shame people, but to snap people out of the life that they've been living. Because the truth is, most people aren't unable to change. They're surrounded by voices telling them that they don't have to. She heard my hard truth, and instead of getting offended over a video that was literally about her, she got more fired up. She chose her future over how she's feeling now. This is why tough love matters. This is why these conversations matter. This is why I refuse to water down the truth to protect people's feelings. Your feelings don't save lives. Actions do. So to this woman, congratulations. You are doing what millions of people are terrified to do. You're ending the story that you no longer want to live in.
So can we normalize you letting me borrow your husband, and not in that way, you freaking weirdos, but like in the way where you both come over and he helps, you know, hang my TV and lift all the heavy things, and we drink wine at the same time, and I'll make you both dinner, and he can have a beer at the same time too. Like it's a win-win-win-win. But I need to borrow your husband.
This is absolutely the result of men leaving the friend zone, which is becoming so widespread that here we see a woman coming online asking other women if she can borrow their husbands. It's called a handyman. You Google somebody locally, you call that number, and then guess what? You have to pay for it. Because trust me, no husband wants to spend hours at your house, even if his wife is there, to fix things for you and then get just a beer and some food out of it. That man would much rather just stop for some takeout food on the way home from work and then actually be able to sit down for an hour, which is honestly all he wants, because these husbands out here are tired. Lastly, could you imagine a man coming on here making a video and talking about how he wants to borrow your wife in order to do wifey things like cleaning and cooking and doing laundry? No, he would be canceled so quickly and he would be kicked off of social media. But that doesn't happen when a woman makes that video because of the double standard.
Do you think women are more frustrated about the physical limitations of their own gender than men are?
Again, perception based. It depends on what you really truly feel that you want to do. I mean, and people, they all live in their own realities. So some of us are comfortable where we are. Some of us desire to be something else. And in that reality, that's where you want to be.
I haven't felt that they're frustrated by it, but they do not like to keep hearing why a man is able to do more because of some physical thing. That's my impression.
Aren't women always trying to prove their strength?
Not me. I don't think women should be firefighters or cops. If I'm in a burning building, I want this 250-pound guy to come save me instead of that scrawny little kid over there.
So why don't we save female animals over male animals just like we do with humans?
I don't know. I don't need animals anymore.
When the woman in the relationship starts making more money than the man, the likelihood of divorce doubles. Really? The use of erectile dysfunction drugs triples because the man has less self-esteem and has problems. Wow. If a woman is ascending economically, what you see is men aren't stepping up logistically and emotionally and domestically. They're not keeping pace with that ascent. And so at some point, the woman in the relationship does the math and says, okay, I'm the provider, I'm the procreator, and you aren't stepping up at home, then I'm definitely out of here.
Once again, it's always a man's fault. I'm never surprised that it's the man's fault in all of this. So if we look at the first point, female income rising increases divorce risk even when the men are contributing, right? So when we look at multiple studies and how it shows that when women earn more than their husbands, divorce risk roughly doubles. Got it. Even when the man remains employed and involved. Even when he remains employed and involved, he's still working, he's still doing what he needs to be doing. It still doubles. It still doubles. So this shows that the issue isn't simply men failing to step up. You might be looking at something called income asymmetry, which itself is destabilizing. It's messing up relationships regardless of what the man is going to do, right? So basically, you got stuff that's coming in and disrupting the natural order of things. It don't even have to be income, right? It could be something else. When the dynamic shifts in the relationship, it's going to destabilize and there's going to be problems. So you have to work those problems out. And the answer is not to be disrespectful. The answer is to say, okay, I'm making a little bit more money. Where should we put it? Because guess what? If a man starts off making less money, first of all, he's not going to be doing that for you modern women. But if he does, by some stretch of the imagination, his job is to say, I just got a raise. Where are we putting this extra money at? Working together. That doesn't automatically mean he starts popping off at the mouth because he makes more money, which is what modern women do. Okay. So the second thing that was talked about is men are penalized for earning less, not doing less. That's my second point. Research finds that men who earn less than their wives often increase housework and childcare. I'll read that again. Research finds that men who earn less than their wives often increase housework and childcare. So if I'm not making as much, then I increase my stuff somewhere in there. I'm going to increase my effort, right? Yet relationship satisfaction still declines. This is suggesting to us men are not failing logistically. Rather, men earning less carries a status penalty that effort alone does not fix. I want you to make more money, period. And this is what we've heard from women over and over again. Modern women, over and over again. Well, what if he makes 90K? 100K. Well, what about 99? 100. If you can make 99 and you can make 100, bare minimum, 100. It don't matter about your effort. It don't matter what else you can do. You've got men that are teachers, men that are, let's say, in healthcare, not making six figures, but doing pretty well. But it's not enough because they don't have the badge of making six figures, right? Say, for instance, that cup that came out from Starbucks, that bear cup. You can buy that cup all over TikTok, anywhere. But because it doesn't say Starbucks on it, that doesn't give me any status. People will say it's fake. So I don't want that. I don't want the glass, even though it's the exact same thing. I want the symbol. You can take a Starbucks logo and stick it on a plastic cup and they'll buy it for $30. The same cup without the logo for $5? No, it don't give me status. This is how these modern women think, right? Number 3, male attraction and intimacy decline with most with disrespect. Okay, not low income. Relationship research consistently shows contempt and criticism are the strongest predictors of divorce, more than finance or chores. Men are far more likely to withdraw sexually when they feel disrespected or emasculated, meaning intimacy often breaks down after respect erodes, not because men are indifferent or lazy. You're a man. You should know that. You should know that. Next point, men's sexual confidence and health suffer when they lose provider status. And provider status specifically talking about, well, I'm not the breadwinner as far as finances go. And so for some reason, I'm not seen as Superman anymore. When I was making 100K and you were making 99K, I'm still the quote unquote provider. Even though we're similar, even though we're close. But when you start making 101 and I'm still making 100, all of a sudden you're the big dog. How does that work? Right? So studies show men who earn less than their wives are 2 to 3 times more likely to use ED medication, even when controlling for health and age. Researchers link this to stress, lower self-esteem, and identity threat, not lack of desire or love for their partner. Let's go to the next one. Men are blamed for relationship failure, even when outcomes are structural. Absolutely. Data shows marriages where women earn more are likely to end, even when men increase domestic labor and emotional investment. So the marriage is going to end even if I increase my domestic labor, even if I start doing more around the house, even if I increase my emotional investment, the marriage is still going to end. Basically, there's nothing that I can do if you have your mind made up, which is what these modern women have. This contradicts the narrative that divorce in these cases is mainly due to men not stepping up. Often the rules change faster than men can adapt. And by the rules changing faster than men can adapt, that just means I have the power to now start talking BS. And you now need to follow what I'm doing. Okay? So the last point here, economic power shifts often change respect dynamics toward men. Economic power shifts, often change respect dynamics toward men. Studies show women who earn less tend to self-censor, while women who earn more feel freer to assert authority, sometimes crossing into disrespect. This doesn't make women bad, but it does show that men often lose relational leverage when income hierarchy flips, regardless of character or commitment. Right? So yes, we see some men are failing to step up, but we also see a lot of men, when women start making more money, they feel like now I can disrespect you.